The Dallas Cowboys could be one shocking move away from chaos or glory, with Dak Prescott, George Pickens, and a draft night trade for Sonny Styles or Jordan Tyson suddenly putting all of Dallas on the edge of explosion.
They're nowhere with George Pickens right now. Nowhere with George Pickens. They are not really talking about an extension. They're not close to an extension. They're not getting a deal done at this point in time. He's on the franchise tag. That situation is just sitting out there. And the Cowboys are said to really like Jordan Tyson. So it's just one more subplot in a draft filled with them entering Thursday night.
They're good players, but they're not Caleb Downs.
Hello, Newbin.
Hello.
The player that the Cowboys are thinking about trading up for is which one?
Oh, my gosh. I think it's Sonny Styles.
It is.
Yeah, it's wild for a non-premium position how valued he is. That we're talking about him being the fourth pick in the draft or teams trading up to get him. But I thought it would be one of the pass rushers. All the calls I made pointed Dallas to Sonny Styles. But you might have to get you might have to go to 5, 6 to get him.
Well, they've got 12 and 20.
Yes, you can get up there.
Yeah.
And I was told last week they're willing. He's getting excited. He's like, yeah.
I know. You sound like Del Tufo.
So bad.
They've
Just grunting over here.
Dallas has never had someone like that on their defense, though. You know, like we got to go back to Ken Norton. But with the last time they had a great inside linebacker.
I will ask the question some might be asking right now, and whatever, if maybe a simple one, but why is Styles' gig, his position, not valued positionally? Like, why? I don't understand it either, and I don't understand it either with Reese. Like, is he ready? Is he not? Again, I covet what I see, and watching as much Big Ten football as I do, those two guys were they were unblockable at times. They were unblockable, unstoppable.
Yeah.
They were superb. They're top 10 picks for a reason. Styles had one of the best combine workouts I've ever seen, and I know that in a token, old school, can get you on the subway. But I mean, why is Styles' position viewed as not as valuable?
I think anyone who's watched Fred Warner play would think he should be valued, right? Like, what is
Seriously.
we were talking about closers. Fred Warner's a closer.
No doubt.
So Sonny Styles can be that type of player. Or, I mean, we can show our age here. Brian Urlacher, like that type of player, former safety who moves to linebacker and just becomes a complete eraser for a defense. Like, I think you would want that in the top 10, especially in a draft that doesn't have the proven left tackles. And we've got 2 edge rushers that are going to go early, but there's not the can't miss wide receiver, or, there's no Joe Alt in this class. Why not go with a player that for 2 years was unstoppable for Ohio State? And they got both our teams. Michigan, I'm a Texas guy. They made Arch Manning look like an undraftable quarterback.
Yeah, right.
So I think those, you just take them and you don't worry about the linebacker position for the next 10 years.
Before I let you go, sir, I'll give you the Rich Eisen show option that we like to throw to people here, which is give us a wild prediction. If you're right, we'll play it back saying, boy, he's a genius.
Nailed it.
And if it's wrong, this never happened. Well, it's flushed.
Oh, my gosh.
The Thursday night biggest surprise is going to be what?
I still think it's Jordan Tyson going 5. I think that will be the surprise, where the Giants come on the clock, and whether it's you guys or, Kuiper and those guys talking about it, it's you're running through all the options of all these defensive players, and they call in Jordan Tyson.
Okay. With all due respect, that's not big enough for me.
Dang. Okay.
Wow, Rich, come on now.
I normally don't do this. I normally just allow you or a guest to just give me one, and I'll stick with it. That's not wild enough for me. Give me the wild prediction for Thursday night. If it's right, we'll play it back because you're Nostra Miller.
Right.
Okay. And if you're wrong, this never happened.
Dallas trading up to 3.
Yes,
That'd
sir.
Be big enough. Okay,
for Reese.
They traded for Reese. I'll go with that one. Okay.
We punched it up. We punched it up.
Right.
That's a little bit more better.
Like your style,
That's a little hot.
Okay.
It's pretty.
Why would it be hot?
I wish there was like a big player trade that we could have. That's what I wish.
Well, A.J. Brown's not going to be available because of the whole June 1st salary cap thing. I don't know.
I don't know that Jonathan Greenard gets it done for.
Well, Peter, if you like Jordan Tyson and you don't take him at 5, there's a possibility he's not going to make it to 10. And that is something the Giants have to wrestle with here, because there are any number of landing spots for Jordan Tyson. The New Orleans Saints at 8, the Kansas City Chiefs at number 9. A team like the Dallas Cowboys could potentially jump up ahead of the Giants. There are a lot of scenarios here for Jordan Tyson. If the Giants pass on Tyson at 5, there are no assurances he's going to be there for them at 10.
By the way, some
draft week,
context there.
Kevin. Let's go.
And some context, the Cowboys have picks 12 and 20. We'll get to them in a moment, but I want to get your thoughts on the idea of the Giants at 5 and 10 building blocks for Harbaugh, and the idea that you get your defensive guy and maybe a guy that can help Jackson Dart, and Jordan Tyson's name keeps on going up.
Well, Jordan Tyson's name should be going up. This is a guy that when you watch the film, I know there's injury concerns, but this guy's flying all around, going up and catching the ball, torquing his bodies all type of ways to be able to come down with catches. He has that explosiveness that the Giants offense would need with a guy like Malik Neighbors coming off a major surgery, especially with a young quarterback like Jackson Dart. On the other side, you get a defender in Arvell Reese. We keep talking about his versatility. For the Giants, who have a lot of edge rushers, you can also play him at off-the-ball backer. We saw Abdul Carter have to do that in the game last year against the Kansas City Chiefs. Arvell Reese is a guy that was made to do these type of things and move around the field.
All right, we're going to stay in the NFC East and talk about another team that has 2 picks, and that is the Cowboys that I just mentioned at 12 and 20. What are you hearing, Shefty, right now about Dallas?
Well, I think in a perfect world, somehow the Dallas Cowboys could find a way to get Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles. Again, it's hard to imagine that could happen, and they don't have a second-round pick, and I don't think they're going to mortgage their draft to trade up. So those are pipe dreams potentially at number 12. If they're staying at 12, there is going to be some sort of defensive player that you would think could make a huge difference. Is that Mansour Delane? Could he get that far at that point in the draft? Also seems like that might be a bit of a stretch to get the top cornerback in this draft. Could Caleb Downs still be there at 12? Any one of these defensive players, in a perfect world, somehow, some way, the Dallas Cowboys figure out a way to get Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles. It's hard to imagine. But let me also just say this, and it's worth remembering going into the draft this weekend. They're nowhere with George Pickens right now. Nowhere with George Pickens. They are not really talking about an extension. They're not close to an extension. They're not getting a deal done at this point in time. He's on the franchise tag. That situation is just sitting out there. And the Cowboys are said to really like Jordan Tyson. So it's just one more subplot in a draft filled with them entering Thursday night.
By the way, the Cowboys having an issue with a star in a contract.
Yeah.
We just call that the rites of spring as we get ready going into the summer. And we see our guy Schrager smiling a lot because in your mock on ESPN.com released today, you had the Cowboys actually trading up from 12 to 9 to get a cornerback. What are you hearing?
It's Adam's right. It's a math game. They traded all these picks and they got rid of these players and they got 12 and 20. But the way the numbers are lining up in all of our simulations and talking to teams, it doesn't seem likely that Styles or Reese will be there. It doesn't seem likely that Downs will be there. It doesn't seem likely that Delane will be there. It doesn't seem likely that Ruben Bain will be there. So you're sitting at 12 if you're the Cowboys. You mortgaged all these defensive players to get these draft picks. At 12 and 20, you don't want to take the 5th pass rusher or the 3rd defensive back. So I have them trading up 3 spots with Kansas City, swapping 12 and 20 for 9 and 29, and ensuring they get Mansour Delane for Christian Parker, their new defensive backs coach. But to Adam's point, I have heard the Jordan Tyson stuff as well. And remember, they took CeeDee Lamb in the 2020 draft when they did not need a wide receiver. And at that point, it was the best player on the board.
See, I love this conversation because going into this draft, I would have told you 100% Cowboys are going with 2 defensive guys in the first round. But you can't always get what you want. And if those guys aren't available, I think what Shefty is saying, the fact that they could walk away and get a receiver, a Jordan Tyson, in the first round, I would walk away and look at that and say, all right, Dallas got a ton better on the offensive side of the ball, but who the hell is playing defense for them? Who's going to go out there and try to stop somebody? They can put up 40 points, 30 points, whatever. Dak Prescott was unbelievable last year, and they still couldn't get to the playoffs. But this draft, that to me is the fun part about it, because for Jerry Jones and company, I want the best player on the board. I don't want to just draft a defender just because that's a weakness to me. So, you, Striggs, you may have to rip up the mock draft because you didn't have Jordan Tyson available to the Cowboys trading up. So I love it.
And by the way, if the Chiefs were to move off the 9th pick and allow a cornerback to go considering their offseason, that would be a stunner as well.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.